SKS, very extremely reliable. Gosh, I love this gun. We've shot so many rounds to this thing, and we probably shot easily over 600, 700 rounds to this thing almost. And I've only cleaned it once. And I got a little story to tell. When I cleaned this thing, the person who got it for me, I never cleaned it when I got it, had cosmoline caked up in the action. And anyway, it's just a great gun. The SKS rifle, it shoots a 7.62 by 39. As I mentioned in my previous shorter review, has a fold-out bayonet, which of course I never tend to use, but it's good to have it there, you know, just in case. It loads from the top. You put your 10 round in like you've seen me do, and then whenever you push it down its follower, and you can pull this bolt back, let it slide home. Of course, you got the safety on, off. It's a really dang good gun, and probably one of the funnest guns you'll ever own. We've had a lot of fun out of this thing. It just keeps on going. Now, unlike the AK, where you have a extended 30 round magazine sticking out of the bottom of the gun, which makes it really hard to lay down with, at least in my experience with AKs, the SKS only has a permanent 10 round magazine. Of course, this can be changed, but the permanent 10 round magazine limits your firepower, but you're able to get down on the ground in a prone position a lot more and to get off those well aimed shots. You know, like I said, it's not as fast as an AK mag change, but if you want 30 round magazines, I definitely have them. In my previous video I had a 30 round mag in, but I decided to go back to the original 10. But telling you what though, I love this thing. Still a little bit more shooting. Oh, there went a lot better. Tell you what, it is just so much fun to go out in the morning and shoot this SKS. Of course, it is cold this morning. Has been cold. Tell you, I got this, bought this Ushanka hat, Russian surplus hat. I'm not a Soviet. I'm not definitely not a communist, but definitely a really dang warm hat, especially on a cold morning like this. SKS didn't care though, and Grant's form of recycling. Tore that can a new one. Tell you that. That's what happens when we have trash around here. Gets shot up. But definitely a great rifle. Pick them up while you can. They're right now they're running about $400, and it's definitely the price affects the quality of them. They just keep on running. They're really accurate. They're just really awesome guns. They run regardless, and like I said, pick one of these up today. Pick one of these up today while you can. Heck, if you want to, get you one of the ones on that B grade, or what is that, Royal Tiger. I've heard some stuff about them. I bought this here at the gun show, but tell you what, these are definitely worth the money. They are just a nice gun. Howdy, Bucko here again, and today I'm going to do an extensive review, much like I did on the Mosin Nagant, and I'm going to do it on the SKS rifle. I know a lot of people probably thinking, if they've kept up with my channel, Robbie, you've already done an SKS video. Yeah, it was my first review. In fact, I did use this gun here. But I figured, you know, as much as I love this gun and as much as the family has come to love this gun, and all the stuff that goes with it, it definitely deserves one of my extensive reviews, a lot like the Mosin got. And here goes. Okay, start off with the history of the gun. It was developed in 1944 and by the Soviet Union, and finally put in service at about 1945. In fact, at the end of World War II, it actually saw some service in World War II on against the Germans. It was in service from 1945 to the 1970s in the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, and in fact, it's still in service today in many third world countries. This gun's seen anywhere from World War II to Vietnam War to the war in Afghanistan, war in Iraq. It's been seen everywhere across the globe, and a lot of that is because there was 15 million of them made total from everything I read. That's including Chinese, the Yugoslavians, the Russians. I believe there's some other types, but I mean, that's the main three types I can think. I think there's also Albanian, but that's the main ones. So there's just so many of these guns, and of course, you know, when there's a lot of guns, they got a good chance of getting in the hand of bad guys. So that's why we've seen on a lot of Vietnam War movies or criminal movies, you know, and gang activity. Not well as known as the gun it got replaced by, the AK-47, but it's definitely still a formidable gun even to this day. You know, like I said, it's still in service with much of the third world countries. A lot of those, you know, it's good for self-defense. I mean, a lot of them, you know, you ain't really got a law. This gun definitely pulls the purpose, especially when in some of those third world countries, AK-47s are really expensive. But it was developed by Sergei Semenov. I forgot to mention that. Developed by Sergei Semenov, Russian gun designer, in 1944. But it's seen service all over the world. It has outstanding reliability. I mean, it's got a great track record as far as reliability. In fact, you can still to this day order some, and I'll get into that later with price and everything. You can still order some caked in cosmoline, probably from a battlefield somewhere, and you can get them still like in that condition. Now they might be a little bit roughed up, but definitely fixable for sometimes as cheap as $210, $220. But we'll get into that later. Let's get into the price of them, because that's a lot of people's mind. That's one of the most important things. I know in my mind, definitely important. The price of these guns. I got this one here, this Norinco. This is a Norinco SKS, Chinese made. And from the serial number, I don't believe, I think I read the serial number wrong. It's from factory 26 is where this one here is. Thing is though, I think I read the serial numbers wrong. If I could guess, I'd say it's made somewhere in the 70s, maybe early 80s, I'm not for sure. But I haven't been able to find out a whole lot of that. Chinese serial numbers are a little bit complicated to me. But anyway, I paid $400 for this one. Now they are anywhere, and now they're going up. They go up over time. They come down depending on it when they get some on boats to the U.S. But their standing price right now is about $400, $350 at the cheapest, and you can get one from like Royal Tiger Imports or any of those, you know, surplus firearms sellers. Of course, it might have a cracked stock. It might have a rusted receiver. It might have this or that. The barrel might be a little roughed up. Might be missing a bayonet, whatever. But you can get those for $220, and to me, it's definitely, you know, if you really want an SKS, it's definitely worth that. But anyway, yeah, the price is going to run about $400. A good Yugoslavian SKS
can run 450 or 500 from what I've seen, and Russians can run up to $700-800. I've seen them easily go for that. I mean, that's really, really high, but there just wasn't as many Russians was made, I don't believe, as there was Chinese and Yugoslavian and all them. But you know, they're still pretty affordable as of now. That's subject to change in the future, like always, especially with all the bans they're trying to do and all the stuff they try to do all the time, gun banning and gun scares and all that. But as of right now, they're about $400. And this here, like I said, this here is a Chinese Norinco. I paid $400 for. It is a very, very good gun. A lot of people like to pick on they call them Chicom rifles, but they're really, really good, really, really accurate. You know, you can't. Of course, I wish I had I wish I had taken a shot at a target so I could show you some of the groups with it. But they're definitely not bad. They're not outstanding by any means, but they could hit minute of, well, what they was designed for, minute a man any day. But you know, I definitely Chinese ones. This here's Chinese. It's been a great rifle, been very reliable. You just can't. I can't say enough about this gun. It's shot and shot and shot. And anyway, we'll get into that with reliability. Now going on to ammo. The SKS shoots 7.62 by 39, which if you know anything about AKs, you definitely know about the 7.62 by 39. It came out during World War II. I think it was actually called the M43 cartridge. They needed a mixture between, if you see my videos or most of the gun, they needed a mixture between 7.62 by 54R and a submachine gun, which at the time for the Russians was the Russian 7.62 by 25. But they wanted a mixture in the middle, judging from what the Germans had in the, I think it's called 8mm Kurz or something like that. But they wanted to meet in the middle of that, and you know, have their own intermediate cartridge. You know, because they realized that combat distances wasn't going out to 700-800 yards. They was staying within 200, sometimes less, sometimes more, about 300 yards or less, 200 yards or less. That was the average combat distance, and the Russians started to realize this. But anyway, that's where the 7.62 by 39 comes with. It's actually one of the first, I guess you'd call it, what they termed assault rifle cartridges, you know, in the military. And like I said, it's a mixture between a pistol cartridge and a full-size rifle cartridge, just pretty much intermediate. Ballistically, the 7.62 by 39 is, from everything I've read, is right on there with the 30-30 Winchester. Which, you know, if you are American and you're used to lever actions and all those cowboy movies, you'll be familiar with that. It's definitely a good game cartridge. I've seen many people post online taking deers with 7.62 by 39. I'm not sure if I would be comfortable with it because of its range capabilities, and it does tend to drop. But the drop isn't as bad as everybody makes it out to be. A lot of people like to say, "Oh, 7.62 by 39 keyholes at 200." That's a dang lie. I seriously doubt that. And I think it'd be a good cartridge for game if you know you're gonna be shooting, you know, rarely. And also it'd be good for beginners deer hunting because of the kick of the 7.62 by 39. It's not bad at all, especially if you compare it to 270. 30-06, 308, if you're getting all those bigger cartridges, it's definitely a lot better than that. And I'll tell you from experience, it's definitely a lot better than 7.62 by 54R, but you lose some of the range capability. Anyway, 7.62 by 39, great cartridge. You know, it's been in service forever almost, and it still continues in service today. Even though in Russia it's getting replaced by the 5.45 by 39. But going on the ammo price, ammo cheapness, well, from what I hear, at least as before my time, you could get 7.60 by 39 surplus cans really, really cheap for like less than 20 cents a round, but that's before my time. And what I've found out is, for the most part, you can find 7.62 by 39, and what I like to, I've shot brown bear, I've shot tool ammo. I think I've shot silver bear. I think I even shot some golden bear 7.62 39 before, but I don't know. I'm not sure, but it's definitely, the ammo is still pretty dang cheap. About 26 cents a round is what the average is, in my opinion, from what I've seen. 26 cents a round, and I mean, you can't really, you can't say, I can't even explain how fun it is to shoot the 7.62 by 39. I can hand the SKS or AK or whatever, anything that shoots 7.62 by 39 to anybody, and they'll be able to fire that gun without having it coming back with their shoulder, killing them, or complaining about the recoil, because it just doesn't recoil hardly at all, and you barely feel it, especially with a heavy gun like this. I'm gonna get into the weight. I'm getting to the weight here in a minute, but a heavy gun like this here, and some of the AKs are kind of heavy too. It takes a lot of that recoil out, and like I said, but it's really, really cheap. 26 cents a round. You can't beat it. I mean, compared to any other cartridge out there, I think that's about the cheapest you can go, except maybe 22. And really, 22 is getting hard to find these days. So, and that was actually the original use of this gun. I got it so I could have a cheap gun to shoot, because at the time I owned Garands, which I don't anymore. But at the time I owned Garands, and every time I'd shoot those, it'd be $1 a round. So I wanted something cheap, fun, plink around with. And I was definitely very impressed with this gun, very impressed with the cartridge. But it's cheap, it's fun to shoot. You can't go wrong with 7.62 by 39. Its stopping power is crazy. You got a big old 30 caliber round coming out of there. Now it is going to have some drop, like I said, but 30 caliber round is something else. And still to this day, me included, prefer the 7.62 by 39 over the 5.56. I know I might get some, blasphemy on the comments, but that's just me. I like a 30 caliber round coming out of my guns. I like that. I like having that stopping power. With 5.56, it's a pretty much almost a 22 caliber bullet in a really long shell. I prefer the 30 caliber, 7.62 39. A lot of people with me on that. A lot of people against me on that. It's all preference. We're all having fun shooting. It don't really matter. But anyway, moving on. Reliability of the SKS. Okay, I can't say enough how reliable this gun's been. And I'm going to tell you a story, and eventually I am going to make a disassembly video about this gun. I'm not going to do it here right now. That'll be for later. But going to reliability, this gun is extremely reliable. There's only been one caveat that I've noticed, and that's when you'll see it on the video clips, and I might add it in here. I would go to load the stripper clip, and I go to load the stripper clip, and for some reason, it's probably me doing it, the top round did not want to go in. It kept clipping on, it kept hitting the thing, it wouldn't go into the chamber. And that ended up pushing the bullet down into the case. I should have been more careful about that. But it ended up pushing the bullet down in the case, and that's actually happened a few times. But it's probably user error more than anything. But I've definitely had it happen. I figure I'd tell y'all that because I'm honest. But other than that, though, other than that, I've had no troubles except when I got into magazines. Now, if you look into my last video review, and it's actually my first one, I had a 30-round detachable magazine and I had a Tapcoat 20-round detachable magazine. Now, the 30-round detachable magazine worked great, but I found it just, I don't know, I just didn't, I ended up, I liked it at first, but I got tired of it because of the fact that it stuck out so far to me, and it's so aggravating to put in the gun. And it was fairly expensive when it was a lot more expensive than AK mags when I could find them, so I just decided to put the 10-round back on and leave it in its original state. And I figured it's about as fast to you know, load in the stripper clip than it is to try to change out that dang mag. And it's, you know, it's not a fast thing, that's for sure. Putting in those mags, you got to put them in just right, at least in this gun. But when I went to go put a Tapco 20 round mag in this thing, I never was able to get that magazine to work. I probably ended up selling it. But that magazine, from my experience, and a lot of people say it needs to be filed down, it was a piece of crap. At least for me, it would not feed. It would never feed. It'd shoot one round, stop. Shoot one round, stop. I never did file them down. A lot of people say, you know, oh, you file them down, they'll be good, but I didn't even bother with it. Put the 10 round back on, and with the 10 round, it has no problems except the one I told you where it'll, every once in a while, that first round don't want to go into the chamber. And I got a story to tell on reliability. When I got this gun, it looked almost, well, it still looks pretty dang good now, but it looked almost unshot. It looked amazing. The barrel chrome was shiny. I looked down the barrel and I figured for $400 it was a steal. It wasn't exactly a steal, but it's definitely a good deal for as good a shape as the gun was in. It kind of still is in, even though I've definitely put it through a ringer. Well, I finally cleaned this gun about a month ago. I took it apart, and I hadn't cleaned it, and I had took the back part of the action right there, and I did take the cover off and add some grease in there and some oil and everything I felt was needed to keep it lubed. But I never took apart the gas piston system or took the thing completely apart because I felt like it probably needed that. Well, I finally decided to do it a month ago because I was bored. Tell you what, I got to give the SKS credit. That thing, the guy who had it before me, did never clean the cosmoline out of it. Never cleaned the cosmoline out of the gas tube. And when I took that top gas tube off, which you can see right there with the cover, see right through here. Like I said, I'll probably make a disassembly video eventually. When I took that off, and I took the piston out, you talking about the thickest, blackest, gunkiest, nastiest, stinkiest stuff was all in that thing. I always noticed it leaked a little bit of cosmoline, but I figured that just in the stock, and when it got hot, you know, I didn't think nothing about that. Well, it was actually coming out of the dang gas tube and the gas piston, and it took forever to clean that out. It took a lot of rags, took a lot of paper towels. I scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed, and that stuff was just black, and I don't even see how the thing operated with all that gunk in there, but it did. And to me, that just showed me how reliable the SKS is. I mean, that is astounding. It was able to operate with all that crap in there, and it was still able to cycle the action like nothing ever happened. Because it was, I really should have took pictures so I could have showed it to y'all how bad it was. It looked like somebody had took silly sludge and just filled up the gas tube with it and just crammed it up toward the rear. It was something else. Anyway, moving on, like I said, the reliability is amazing. You won't have much trouble out of this gun, except maybe some tripper clip problems, which may have just been my fault. I'm not, you know, completely an ace at putting those things in. Okay, moving on to weight. This gun weighs 8 pounds and 8 ounces. Like most of them weighs, actually. I mean, well, this one here probably weighs a little bit less, at least it feels like to me. I didn't really check it. But most of them weighs about 8 pounds, 8 ounces. Except if you have a Yugoslavian made, I think it's called a Popovka M5966. One of my buddies has one of those, and it is, you can feel the heaviness on the end of the barrel because, I might roll in some pictures with that, I might not, because on the end of the barrel it has that big old, you know, got the grenade launcher assembly, and it's got that big old cap on the muzzle, and it's just, and the Serbians, or the Yugoslavians, they overbuild everything. And including their AKs, which hint hint, that'll be a video review for the future. Definitely coming up on Bucko World War II's channel. But that gun there, I'm be willing to bet, is probably over 10 pounds. I'd have to say it is, because it's a lot more heavier to me than my Chicom is. But you know, it weighs pretty good, but in my opinion, it don't weigh a whole lot more than an AK-47 or even a Washer 10 or any of those, it don't weigh a whole lot more. It weighs more, but it's not like a game changer, I don't think. But who knows? If you're carrying that gun around, which that's getting to my next point in use in WROL, it will become heavy on you. Because you carry a gun around long enough, it's definitely going to weigh on your shoulder, whether you have a sling or not. If you don't have a sling, it's probably going to be even worse. But that's just something to think about. They do weigh a pretty good bit, because it is a World War II era rifle. If you go back to World War II, look at all those guns. They're all heavy. I've owned them. I know what it is. But it's definitely not unmanageable. But it's all in personal preference and what you feel comfortable with. If you feel more comfortable with, AR-15, it's a lot lighter, or an AK-47 that has a lot of polymer parts on it, or stocks or whatever that might be lighter, you might want to go with that. It all depends on your use, and that's what I'm getting to next. What's the use of this gun? What would be a good use for this gun? Well, my use anyway is, probably for, I think home defense would be okay. It's a little bit long for that. Hunting, I think so. I think you could. I wouldn't. I think there's definitely better options out there for hunting. Biggest one I see with this gun is fun. This gun is fun to shoot. Like I said, we've shot hundreds and hundreds, probably close. We might be almost at the 1,000 round mark for this gun. We've shot a lot of rounds through this gun, and it just continues to go. And it is just so much fun to shoot. I can hand this gun to anybody in my family, including my little brothers, and they can shoot this thing right off the bat with no trouble. I'm not saying everybody will, but that's from our experience and my family. They've all loved this gun. It's easy. It's point and shoot, just like about any kind of Russian made gun. Really simple to operate. But that'd be my biggest point of use. And maybe carrying around the woods gun, because something you don't really care a whole lot about, but you want a little bit more firepower than a bolt action. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, going on, almost at the end of my review. WROL, would it be good for without rule of law situation, or apocalypse situation, zombie, whatever you want to call it, whatever you think might happen, I guess. I think it would be good, but this is where I'm going to tie it back into price. SKSs are running about $400, after cheapest sometimes in this condition. AK-47s, Washer 10s, and be honest, I ain't seen a whole lot of bad Washer 10s, and I haven't yet to get one. Washer 10s, Zastava end paps, a lot of those Century armed guns, the lower end AKs that have really stepped up their game, and I'll get into that later on. That's definitely for another video review. Like I said, hint coming up. That's the only thing is that the gun is $400 now, and it's definitely worth that quality wise. Like I said, it's like one guy on YouTube said, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was I think it's that Such guy, Team Such Minute Man or whatever it is. I like watching his channel, but I'm kind of new to his channel. And he had a review on one of these, and what he said was right. The price is starting to meet the value of it. That's what happens in supply and demand. When you have a whole lot of them, they're real cheap. When you start to get fewer of them, everybody starts buying them up, then the price starts meeting the quality of the gun. That's what we got here. The only thing is that for a few $100s more, maybe about $100, I'm guessing about $150 more, you could have an AK-47. An AK-47 basically is the gun that replaced this. And the SKS, like I said, has some drawbacks compared to more modern designs like the AK, maybe like the AR, and the fact that your basic model is going to have a 10 round magazine. Yes, you can get a 30 round, but it's not quick, guys. I don't care how you do it. I just don't see that being quick. And be honest with you, putting them in a mag pouch is going to be awkward because of the big duckbill lip they have on them. It's just, I just don't see it. you know, I think if you really wanted a WROL gun, I think you might be better off to pay the extra 100 and something and just get you an AK or maybe a lower end AK washer 10. Zastava NPAP, which I heard is, you know, is really high quality rifles. Washer 10s are even high quality from what I heard nowadays at Century Arms. All those other ones, you know, you can get a lot of other guns, and maybe AR-15s, Palmetto State AR-15s sometimes run if you can get a parts kit for $500 or $600, $700. So it all depends on you. Now, if this was the only thing you had, definitely it'd do a good job in a WROL situation, a home defense situation. But you ain't going to have the rounds count that you have with anything else. And you look over here to the left, I have 3 of those. Of course, I put my New Testament. I'm trying to get some stuff to hold up the gun at an angle so I can let you look at it. If you look over there, there's 10 round. In fact, let me grab it for you. Here is the 10 round stripper clips. I should have showed that to you before. The only thing is that, like I said, that is slow compared to an AK mag change or AR mag change. It is pretty slow, and you run out of rounds pretty quick. I mean, especially if you have to have sustained fire, you know, but that's why the SKS was replaced. Of course, with its longer barrel compared to the AK-47, you might get better range. I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of difference. I don't think. A lot of people might say otherwise in the comments. We'll see. But there's your 10 round stripper clip, and it takes 3 of these to equal up to 1 AK mag. And if you got a 40 round or even a 75 round drum, it could take more of that. I'm not taking anything away from the SKS, but I'm just saying for survival situations, it'll definitely serve you good. But if you have the opportunity to get better options, it'd definitely be a good idea to do so. And at their price right now, maybe it would be worth the $100, $150 to get you a low-end AK or AR. It's all personal preference, really. But anyway, now my final opinion: should you buy it or not? I definitely say buy it. I would definitely say buy it, especially if you kind of love curio and relic guns, and you like you know, and you'd like a survival gun that you ain't got to worry about magazines on. This would definitely be a good one to do. If you're able to find it cheap, definitely go for it. Like I said, their prices keep going up. There's a lot of collectors of these things, and I can see why. They are awesome rifles. They're really fun. I definitely say buy it, because you never know what the market's going to do. You never know if they're going to dry up. If you look at a lot of the surplus guns of the past, they've dried up. It's really, you know, you just never know. So in my opinion, I'd say buy it. But you know, but I thank you so much for watching this video. I thank all the subscribers I've got. Check out my Facebook page if you don't mind, at Bucko World War II on Facebook. Send me a like, and you get updates and status updates and new videos and all that stuff. And I just want to thank all the fans I've got and all the subscribers I got. Y'all mean a lot to me, and really does. It really makes my day when I get on there and I see a like or a comment, or heck, even if you got an opinion like, hey Robbie, you're wrong. I love that. I'm always learning. So I just want to thank everybody so much, and I hope everybody has a blessed week. As of right now, it's getting close to Christmas, so get that Christmas shopping done. Thank you for watching, and God bless.